Encountered several definitions of singing which include, or exclude I should say, a large number of potentially important sounds with respect to expressing oneself, such as screaming or growling or very low in the throat singing. And these things are all important parts of human experience. And if you say when someone does them, that's not singing, that's really a form of censorship. And one of the comments I get, despite having made these videos or made the notes that go into them for about 10 years now, is that I'm going to ruin my voice as I age. Well, I've already aged a lot, first of all. And secondly, it doesn't really have to do with how my technique if I'm just going to lose my voice by aging. It's not a scientific test to say your technique is going to make you lose your voice as you age. It could just be the aging that does it. And of course, most of all, you're ignoring the number one thing that people should look at if they want to be good singers, and that is not to age. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to raise awareness and get people thinking about how we can get a world where we don't have aging anymore. That's not really what I'm worried about, is how to be, the greatest possible singer or the most infamously bad singer. What I'm trying to put into that message is that I want to live. And I developed those higher notes because I wrote a story about living rather than dying and reversing the way that we usually are made to think through literature. Now, there are some very strange contradictions in the conventional music or singing way that it's taught, and these come up in my comments, and they're some of the most incredibly contradictory things I've ever seen in terms of how many contradictions someone can pack into a couple of sentences. And this is much like other videos I've done, like 100 climate religion contradictions, or the Let It Go contradiction counter, or the ones I've done about human cloning. Is there's this characteristic language that comes up again and again in death propaganda, which is noted by its incredible concentration of contradiction. This is in singing too, in that when people talk about how they don't like my presumed singing, you get this incredibly contradiction-dense language. And one of them, of course, is the basic prohibition of living. You're not looking at the basic problem in terms of fixing the voice, which is not aging. The second is that there's some really bizarre prohibitions in that inhalation is not counted as singing, even though it does use the vocal cords and it creates resonance and all the rest. By some definitions, they're not counting inhaling, and inhaling is kind of an important thing to do. It shouldn't be banned like rain and all the other things that we have banned today. And I've started to think that really that it's become more of a prohibited drug than what used to be our most prohibited drugs. There has been an actor president, there's been a reality TV show president, but there's never been in the United States, as far as I can tell from a search, a singing president. So I think perhaps the maximum level of political tolerance we can have for singing at the moment is if there were a question launched at the debates along the lines of, well, Mr. Candidate, have you ever, or in the past, have you ever been a singer? To which the candidate would probably have to reply in order to get elected, well, I sang once in college, but I didn't inhale.